Hello my convicts and convicettes, it's the designer Kappa Convict bringing you guys and gals another quick vlog. So I want to do this quick vlog. I wasn't going to do one, but some things have come up and I really want to discuss about them with you guys and gals. So yeah, there we go. Without further ado, let's get to it, shall we? And let's talk about my internet connection. As you can see, my hair, I'm going to have to get it cut. I've been wanting to shave it and get it back to normal, and it's just an absolute disgrace. But yeah, it's not about my disgraceful haircut, at least anyway. So what I want to talk about is in terms of my internet connection. As you all know, I've been looking at talking to BT in terms of trying to fix my connection so that we can have a better time when it comes to recording and live streaming on the channel, because of the fact that I have such a low download and upload speed. My download is around about 30.34, so it's not too bad for the download, but my upload unfortunately has always been around 5 or less megabits per second, which is not a lot to deal with. And the fact that I have possibly about 7 devices in the house that could potentially be on at the same time that will use up bandwidth from download and upload speed, obviously it can be a crippling effect to me being able to play games and do what I do in terms of, you know, all the things I've got here, and trying to record gameplays and do live streams and such. As you all know, with live streaming especially around about 1080 or 720, it takes around about 2.5 megabits, I think it is, a second to actually physically upload in 720 or 1080, whichever one it is. It's quite a lot to deal with, and when you've only got 5 to deal with and then you've got gameplays to play as well, it's pretty difficult. Another problem and issue I've had obviously many times from the few times I have moved, about 3-4 times, is the fact of latency. Latency is a big issue. As we all know, the term ping is king really does make a difference, because ping really is king when it comes to a lot of things when you're doing gaming, such as the reaction speed in which you can do certain things, to seeing things, to when your shot hits and comes back to you, to register that yes, that is a hit, and then deducting the damage from the enemy player or from yourself, from either you shooting them or them shooting you. Can be an absolute, you know, I can't think of the word, but it can be basically the defining moment between you winning and losing a fight in many cases. And someone on a much lower ping than you, and you're on, say, like a ping of 20 and they're on a ping of 5, they're always going to be guaranteed to be the victor in most of the fights they fight against you, through the fact that when they shoot you, their shots register quicker, and what they're doing and what they're seeing is obviously quicker than you, and they can see you, which I've said before in the past, up to 5 milliseconds before you've even seen them. They're already getting prepared to aim, and then as they're prepared to aim, you're then seeing them for the first time, and then you're trying to react to that. Unfortunately for the internet, it's always been that kind of problem where you've got sometimes where what you're doing on your screen can be different to what they're completely doing on their screen, and that's the issue obviously of doing gaming over the internet, which is why we've got the lag compensation and stuff like that, to try and obviously tackle that kind of issue. But it can only do so much, it can only help so much, and not always is it going to help you in all situations. So I've had some emails back. I got an email from something called IP Liverpool, or Liverpool.ip, and they're the actual engineers or the people dealing with the connection that I'm basically trying to set up at the moment. They've actually got in contact by email, and they've said that there's going to be some stuff sorted out, and they're actually sending an engineer to the house to, I think it was to install a PTSD board at the house, and to obviously do some work on the copper lining and copper cabling here as well. But they guaranteed me that it's going to be going on the 30th of July. So we've now got an official date of an engineer coming. Now it's not necessarily saying the work is going to be done on that day, but we will be a bit more closer knowing what's happening and what's going on in terms of connection and what we can physically do with the connection on the 30th of July. So keep tuned in. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified, and we'll go through it in detail, as I will ask as many questions as I can to the engineers when they come to sort of figure out and see if there's anything else we can do in terms of helping you, and what my connection is going to be doing, and what we can expect from my connection in the future. Now, the only sort of downside at the moment is the actual installation is only going to give me 7 up and 7 down when it first comes to the property, but it can be upgraded. But the maximum this line will support will be a maximum of 18. So that's 18 up and 18 down, which is a lot better than what I'm getting at the moment. Obviously it's a decrease in download speed, but it will be an increase in upload speed. And if it's obviously bringing down the latency as well to a much lower latency of about 5-7 milliseconds, then I'm game. I don't mind that. So that is something we're going to have to find out. So that's the 30th of July is when that's going to happen. So on the 30th, I will apologise if there's no videos, depending on obviously what actual work they're going to be doing here. I'm guessing will mean that obviously I won't be able to use the internet on that particular day, if they're doing any work at all, if it's installing, because she did say on the 30th the engineer was coming to install the PTSD board, so on, is doing some work on the 30th. I don't know if that's the full work that will be needed, and then what they'll do is they'll continue to work on that line, and once they've got it completely set up, then obviously it'll be set up. So it's going to be a gradual thing of them doing stuff at the house, and they've got to go down there, do stuff down there as well, and then the exchange and so on and so forth, and back at the BT base, wherever it is, they'll be doing stuff there as well. So it's going to be a bit of a process, but it's going to be a pretty quick one, because they're not really fundamentally doing anything with the actual line itself, with the copper wiring. It's just from the point here, the point to the cabinet and the exchange, and that's it. It's not going to be any sort of digging up roads or anything like that. Now, they've also talked about something called BT Net. Now, this is something I asked about because I was intrigued, and we spoke to Liam about it, or I spoke to Liam about it, I should say, and we was talking about BT Net. Now, BT Net basically is going to give us the opportunity to have FTTP from the property, which is fibre from the property to the cabinet to the exchange. Now, this would make a huge difference because it's FTTP, which is the fastest way of physically using the internet at the moment. You can get speeds of up to 300 down, 300 up with FTTP, which is absolutely mind-boggling. You can get 1 gigabit from what the woman said on the phone. So that's 1,000 down, 1,000 up on a FTTP line. That is crazy fast. Now, there is a possibility of doing that, but I'd have to get a surveyor to come out and survey the land first. They'd have to survey this connection down here and obviously get that sorted, and then it'll cost obviously for the engineers to come out and actually dig up the roads and put in new wiring, because they'd have to rewire the whole house with a new cable, obviously for the fibre optic cables, not the copper cabling that they're currently using at the moment. So they'd have to do that. So that will make a big difference in terms of whether it works. And as you can see, it's here with me, so if you hear anything, it's this one. But yeah, they're gonna have to do that. Now, I know recently they did some new builds further down this way, and 6 doors down, like I've said, probably even less than 6 doors, they actually have FTTP down here because they did some new builds. And the council took over them because of the fact that the private company went bust or went under, and they sold them to the council, and the council had to adhere to the policy of a new build means obviously new cabling, and I think most new builds now have to go as an FTTP connection, so that obviously it's less work for BT in the future when they do start to change and roll out more FTTP to more areas. So that's going to be a thing. So for us to do that, obviously it's going to cost a lot of money to do it, and to get that set up and everything, but because the cabling's already here, it shouldn't be that expensive. I did have an engineer a long time ago, if you go back through my vlogs in regards to visits from engineers and stuff, I did mention even an engineer had said it would actually be a pretty simple setup because the infrastructure is already here. They just have to plumb the house to that infrastructure, which is obviously 6 doors down, or wherever it's placed at, or at the box. So it is something pretty easy to do, and they could actually do it. So I'm going to see how we go. I'm going to wait for this new connection. So on the 30th of July, when the engineer comes, if we can speak, he'll come and put in the 7 and 7. I'll have that upgraded to the 1818 if it's not too much. I don't want it to be too expensive, hopefully, and see how we go with that. If that can bring down the latency, which I will speak to the engineer, then definitely that sounds like a way to go, because 7 and 7 is not going to be enough to do uploading, to do live streams, which is what I'm hoping to do by September. So I definitely want to be at least 10 or 18. I think 18 will probably be better, I think, personally, because of if anyone uses stuff in the house, at least then I've still got 10 to work with. If he's using 8 of the upload, then at least I've got 10, sorry, of the upload speed to continue doing what I need to do as well. So we'll see how we go on. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick notification that on the 30th of July, the engineer will be here, and hopefully we'll be seeing some new connections very, very soon. So I'm waiting for Liam to get back, so if Liam can contact me and let me know, because we need to discuss in terms of pricing and stuff like that, and obviously going forward to BTnet, which I do believe I will probably end up doing for the full FTTP connection from here to there, and we'll see how we go. So I just thought I'd give you a quick little insight to what's going on and what's happening. You know who it is. It is I, the Kappa Convict, signing out, and as always, I salute you, my convicts and convicettes, and I'll see you soon in some more gameplays, won't we? Hey? With this terror here with me. Hey? You gonna say it? Hey? Come here 2 minutes. Come here, watch this. And this is I, the Kappa Convict. No, come here. Come here. Come here. And this is I, the Kappa Convict, signing out, and as always, I salute you, my convicts and convicettes, and I'll see you soon in another gameplay. There you go, that's the face. That's the face I keep laughing at, but there you go. Bye for now.